Hello and welcome to Markets at Noon. It's breaking news right now. You're getting the GST collection numbers. Tushar tracks this number pretty closely. Tushar, I know the breakup is still awaited, but GST collection at 94,000 crores. What's your first reaction?
As far as this month's collection is concerned, rather May's collection is concerned, 94,000 crore is pretty much in line with what the government was expecting, and the numbers would sort of be reported in this current system. Remember, as far as the data that we have right now, the 94,000 figure is higher than the yearly average of 89,000 crore, which came in last year. So the government is primarily on track as far as GST data is concerned, and we'll have to see how the breakup is, because we have to see the amount in the IGST and subsequently the compensation that will go to the states.
Okay, Tushar, catch your breath. We'll just come back to you. Let's go across to Bhavna Doshi of KPMG. Till then, hi Bhavna, always a pleasure chatting with you. The Finance Secretary, Hasmukh Adiha, who also looks after the Revenue Department, has already applauded this figure, saying that at 94,016 crores, the May GST collection is higher than the average monthly mop-up of 89,885 crores. Would you look at it with that kind of an optimism, or do you think that this is perhaps less than what the street and what the expectations were? There is a lot that's riding on the GST collections. Higher collections have to in some way try to offset the higher crude prices as well.
Right. One would have expected a little higher number, because 94,000 is average. I mean, it's certainly better than average of last year, but if we see the last month, it was about 1 lakh crore. So one would have thought that that momentum would be maintained. But at the same time, I must say that there are still significant refunds which are pending. In fact, now we have this 1 week, which is a refund clearance week. Now, once those refunds are given, then again, perhaps this month's number will be impacted. So we need to perhaps work a little harder, maybe do some more hand-holding guidance of people, maybe enhance but something vigil also, so that overall basis the number should increase.
Right. So, the number should increase. There is a slight downtick that has come in. Tell me, Bhavna, what did you make of the rules that were announced yesterday for trying to, day before yesterday, for refunding the exporters? Almost 20,000 crores that has been stuck. You've already laid out your apprehension about how this number could then go down. And isn't the e-way bill countering all of this?
Yes, the e-way bill will certainly help in countering. Of course, ultimately, it is only the matching which will help overall, checking the evasion if there is any. But yes, these refunds will certainly have impact on revenue. They are long overdue. And 1 week, hopefully, they are moving to something manual, something is electronic. So there are apprehensions, but I'm sure when they all desire that they want to do it, they will certainly be able to do it and achieve the refunds which have to be granted.
Just stay on with us. Sandeep is also now joining us, partner taxation at Shardul Amalchand and Mangaldas Company. Sandeep, what's your first reaction to this number of 94,016 crores?
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, so I think the first thing is that obviously the implementation of e-way bill has pushed the GST collection a little bit. From an average of around 90,000 crores, they moved to 94,000 crores, so there is a 5% jump there. But I would say it's still not up to the expectation I was expecting the numbers to reach. I was expecting them to actually cross 1 lakh crore, especially keeping in mind that in addition to the e-way bill, there have been various other anti-evasion mechanisms which have kicked in. The anti-evasion authorities have become very active, have identified various tax frauds or tax leakages which have been happening. And I thought that the impact of that would perhaps show in this month. But I guess the collections with respect to those evasions have not yet happened, and we will have to wait for another month or so for these numbers to even move further. also the intra-state e-way bill, now becoming mandatory in most states now, this number would again should go up, and I at least expect more buoyancy in the number, and I expect them to reach closer to an average of around a lakh crore if we have to reach the targets and meet the targets which the Finance Ministry has set for itself.
Right, but how do you expect it to pan ahead going? You think things will only get better from here on?
Yes, obviously, compliances are improving. The e-way bill have become mandatory. The new form is likely to come in another 6 months. So, every month, I have always given more importance to the numbers with respect to compliance rather than the numbers with respect to collection. Because compliance numbers show you how many SSCs have regularly started complying. And we have moved on that regularly by 5, 7, 10%. People are more and more becoming used to the GST compliances. And this compliance, I am expecting, would become more expected, more regular when we move on to the new form of return, which is expected somewhere in November, December this year, hopefully. And going forward, I only see progress from here. Obviously, I don't think that we are going to go beyond 10% more than this number. I know that it should be somewhere around 1 lakh crore. But I don't see that there is any reason for us to fall back to the levels of 80,000 crore which we saw in last few months.
Sandeep, my question to you before I go across to my colleague Poonam Sane, and we're going to be joined by in-house expert Maithili Busmanmath as well, is, the liquidity problems that have been created for SMEs as well as exporters, because the government and the GST network, let's be honest, hasn't been able to keep pace with the refunds. There is a problem. There are some rules that have come out. I want to get your reaction on what did you make of those interim rules. Could that help in taking care of this problem? Because we do need to handhold industry as well if we need to see our economy back on track.
Sorry, can you come again? I missed you somewhere in between. What rules are you talking about?
I wanted to ask you the interim rules that the government announced for taking care of the refund problems that exporters and SMEs have been facing. What did you make of them? Because let's be honest, the GST network has really let down the SMEs and exporters.
Okay, as far as the refund is concerned, there is a circular which has been issued, and again we have a GST refund week which the government is holding, and the idea is that as many exporters and as many SMEs should get refund, because for the SMEs, exporters, blockage of money with government is a big issue, because people who are working on 5%, 10% margin, if their 18% of money is blocked in refunds, obviously it is going to push them out of business sooner or later if the refunds are not given on a regular basis. But my personal experience with respect to the actual implementation of the intention that the circular shows has not been great till date. Yes, some refunds are being issued, but there are still various refunds which are being rejected, primarily for some procedural reasons. And also, while GST refunds are being handed out to few exporters, there are multiple applications of refund which are pending from the prior period of service tax laws, and those have not moved on at all. And government will have to come up with some final deadline for itself to clear all pending service tax refunds, so that at least the prior period refunds are cleared. As far as the GST refund is concerned, yes, these kinds of camps or the weeks do help, but we would have to have a robust online system where the refund is automated and the SSC or the consultants do not have to run to the tax department's office for getting these refunds released. Till the time we reach there, I don't think that these interim measures are going to give us these SMEs any substantial relief.
Okay, Poonam, Poonam Sania, I'm going to come to you now. You're an in-house expert, 90,000 plus crores, almost 24,000. The government already applauding it and saying it's better than the average monthly pickup, but it's still falling short, because if you see it on a month-on-month basis, maybe some area of concern.
That is true. In fact, Nayantara, if you just observe the entire trend of GST collection so far, from November until around February, we were seeing the collections anywhere between 85,000 to 89,000 crore. It was just in the month of April that the GST collections did cross over 1 lakh crore, and now at 94,000. All the economy experts that I have in fact spoken to have stated that in order to have a better revenue picture for FY19, we at least need to clock in a GST collection of over 1 lakh crore each month. So I would say that May GST collections at 94,000 odd crore is still lower than expected, but it's only in the last 2 months, April and May, that we are seeing some amount of decent collections. It does probably state that yes, post this entire e-way bill, maybe we are seeing better compliance, but it is still too short. The time period is still too short to really make it a point that are we going to really ensure that the GST collections come over 1 lakh crore. I think we will have to still wait and watch for the next few months, but yes, to my knowledge, the GST collections of over 1 lakh crore, that should be the monthly figure that probably we should be eyeing out for, in order to state that we are better off in terms of the overall revenue collections, at least from a tax perspective. Because even if you look at the yesterday's fiscal deficit data, just one figure was that if you look at the overall net tax revenue, we did clock in at 12.4 lakh crore versus the revised aim of 12.7 lakh crore. So just in terms of the net tax revenue figure for FY18, we have been far lower, and we're already seeing good amount of challenges coming in on the macroeconomic front, on the fiscal deficit front, on account of the higher oil prices, and hence the GST collections seem to be far more important a parameter to be tracked at. And I guess we would be only happy if we really go ahead and see that 1 lakh above crore figure for a considerable few months going ahead.
Right, Poonam, thanks so much for that. Thanks so much, Sandeep, for joining us, as well as Bhavna for taking out time for us. It was good to get your perspective on this. Let's meanwhile do a market check. And Nayantara, again, after the GST collection numbers, or the sort of sell-off that was already visible in the mid-cap space in the last 1.5 hour, there has been excessive mid-cap selling. Rather than the Nifty, which is pointing out towards a 21-point decline, the mid-cap index, the small-cap index, continue to look on the weaker side. And that's probably been the key negative that one would take into this particular market. That first day of the series, first month of the day, MSCI, the big MSCI selling that was expected has got over yesterday. And now again, still, you see this fresh round of selling coming in. Just look at this last 1 hour. I mean, Nayantara, just look at the chart that we're talking about. Post 11, there has just been a free fall as far as small cap and the mid cap space is concerned. The banking index is also not holding up now. It's quite difficult even for the banking index to hold up, when you have such amount of selling pressure in the market, and that's leading to extreme selling pressure. But more details coming up. We're taking a break. Back in 2 minutes. We'll discuss markets, some important stocks on the other side of this.